What is up, guys? My name is Pocketcraft and welcome back to the Cobblemon Survival Guide. You've probably noticed that I have trainers like Brendan walking around the world here, and this is not part of vanilla Cobblemon. So today I'm going to show you how you can add trainers like this and gym leaders into Cobblemon so you can have a normal story mode where you have to beat all the 8 gyms and the champion, just like I'm going to be doing in this series, and then we're going to fight the first gym leader in this episode as well. Last episode was incredible. We caught a Paradox Pokemon and a legendary Pokemon who is kind of getting his head cut off by Roaring Moon here. And so you are not going to want to miss any of this episode. Make sure you stick around to the end. I'm going to try and answer every question I've ever heard about gym leaders and the Radical Red mod in Cobblemon. And if you have a specific question, feel free to check the timestamps down below and skip to where I answer that for you. Or if you just want to watch the Let's Play, you can skip ahead to that as well. But first things first, you just need to download the Radical Red mod. Now I'll have a link to this down in the description. You just download it and install it in your mods folder like normal, and then that'll populate these trainers running around the world. Now, one of the first things I recommend you do when you install the Radical Red mod is find a village. And it took us a while, but I wandered around until I found this one to showcase this for you guys in this episode. And the reason you want to find a village is because there is a certain PC called Trainer Association that only spawns in villages, and that trainer allows you to pick your path in this game. They currently have 2 sets of gym leaders that you can fight, the Sinnoh and Kanto, and so you're going to want to pick that before you do anything else. And so we're going to look around here until we find him. There we go. He's usually wandering around pretty willy-nilly, but this is what he looks like. He looks a lot like the Wandering Trader here. And you'll want to right-click him, and he allows you to change your path. So you can choose the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl gym leaders. And this one, it shows the difficulty. As you can see, it's fairly easy. But if you pick one of these, it'll restart your progression. Or you can do the Radical Red series, which is very difficult. This is the gym leaders from the Radical Red ROM hack, which is known for being incredibly difficult. So we're going to go for the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl one, but to do this, we first need a trainer card, which we can either trade with him for, or we can craft one. But we do need redstone to craft it, so it looks like I'm going to have to find a couple more emeralds so we can trade with him. Alright, we got ourselves a Fletcher villager here, so we can trade a bunch of sticks for emeralds, which I find is usually the fastest way to get emeralds quickly until you have some sort of automatic farm. So we'll trade for all of those. This should be enough for us to go ahead and trade with our trainer association. So let's find that guy again. And here he is. We have the opportunity now to trade for the trainer card, which is huge. We're probably actually going to want to do another trade to get a second one of these. So I'll probably do that after. But first, we can go ahead here and use the trainer card to pick our progression. Now, I think the default is Radical Red. I'm going to do Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl because the purpose of this series is mainly to be educational, but we also want to have some fun Let's Play in the background. So we'll click on that here, and as you can see, we are now in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now, one of the nice things I realized I was incorrect about is you actually get to keep the trainer card even after that trade. All right, we're back home now, and here we're going to explain a little bit more about how to use this mod, and I'm going to answer all the questions I've heard people have. So the first one here is this trainer card is a super important item. Luckily, once you do that trade, you get to keep it even after changing your path. And so to use the trainer card, you can right click it, and this is going to kind of show you a lot of important things. So on the bottom left here, it shows the current level cap, which for us is level 15. And then here it allows you to go through and look at the different trainers that are ahead of you. Now right now we haven't met any of them, so they're all question marks. Once you battle one, it'll have their name and some information here. When you click on one, you can click the X to go back, and you can change views with this top. This would show the champion, which there's only one obviously for this path. And then Elite 4, there's 4. Rival, you'll have several rival battles. And then Leader. Now the next trainer you need to fight in the progression, which we'll get to explain the progression in a second, is going to have this weird kind of character name where you can click on it, and then it's going to slowly tell you who this is. So Gym Leader Rourke is the first trainer that we need to fight. He'll increase our level cap. And then something really important is when you're here, you're going to want to click this right arrow because the gym leaders spawn in certain locations. And so it only is going to spawn, or most likely to spawn, in these biomes here. So Cherry Grove, Dripstone Caves, Frozen Peaks, and so on. And so with the next trainer you need to battle, you're going to want to do this. Otherwise, it can be very difficult to find them because they don't always spawn in every biome. And then we'll get into the signature item here in a minute, the Smooth Rock. And that's going to be important in the future, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Then you can click the X here, and once we beat him, it'll have more information about him here. And again, you can go through for Team Galactic and all the required trainers. Now, speaking of required trainers, you're probably confused about what this progression thing is. So if you go to the Modrinth page for the Radical Cobblemon trainers and scroll down, they'll have a link to their documentation. They also have some other helpful guides here who are made by someone pretty awesome. You should probably subscribe to them if you haven't. But if you go all the way down, you'll see this link to the documentation, and if you click on that, this area here is going to give you a ton of answers. If you go to gameplay and then progression, you can scroll down here, and it's going to have a progression map that you can see for either version that you're doing, Brilliant Diamond or Radical Red. And so that's going to look like this right here, and it's going to show you the required trainers that you need to beat with their level caps. So Rourke, and then we will have to fight Commander Mars, Commander Jupiter, then Gym Leader Gardenia, and then it goes through and it'll show you all the trainers that you need to fight all the way up to the champion herself, Cynthia. And then there's some rebattles here, as you can see. So the game comes in with a built-in level cap for each trainer, and you need to fight trainers in a specific order to raise that level cap. Now here's where I get probably the highest percentage of questions is around this level cap and how it works. So I'm going to talk about how it works, how to change it, how to get around it, or just how to follow it if you want to follow it. So right now our level cap is 15, but if you look in our party, we have plenty of Pokemon over level 15. All right, we have a level 60 Zapdos, which is way over the level cap. And the creators wanted to make this, a difficult challenge, and even like the normal Pokemon games where you can't use over-leveled Pokemon, at least through trades. So right now, normally to battle someone, you right-click them. But you'll see here when I try, it says, your Pokemon aren't quite listening to you. Right? And this means I haven't beat enough people, gotten my level cap up, and so I cannot battle anyone. So there are two ways around this. The simplest way, if you want to follow the level cap, is just to go and craft a PC, which we'll do a future video highlighting mainly PCs and healing machines. But for now, the PC can be crafted like this, with iron ingots, copper ingots, smooth stone, and glass. And I'm actually going to craft 2 of these because, as a quick tip, I always recommend having one PC in your party, because then anywhere you go, you can just lay it down, use it, and then break it and keep it with you as you're going. But I'd also like one in my base, so we'll put one here. And then if you just go ahead and use the PC, put all your Pokemon that are above the level cap in here, you're now fine. And if we go find a trainer again, who's on top of our house, we can right click them, and now they're going to let us battle them. Their shanks must have fallen down in our hole or something. And then you can just battle like a normal Pokemon battle. But that is important to realize, you have to right click them to battle. It is not using the R button like you do to fight wild Pokemon in Cobblemon. I don't know why they switched that here, but that is the way it is. Something important to know as well is if you are at the level cap or above it, like our Charmander is, you are not going to gain any experience from battle. So unless you're EV training, there's not a whole lot of reason to do these battles once you get to the level cap. But you can, if you would like, forfeit the battle, and that's like running, and that'll just end the battle and you can go away. But you do get rewards from beating trainers. Better rewards obviously are from like gym leaders and stuff than just these wild ones. And it depends. Sometimes you won't get them, but usually they'll drop some item for you. But as you saw there, we didn't gain any experience because we're at the level cap. So that part's pretty self-explanatory, but what if you just think the level cap is annoying and you don't want to have it on at all? If you want to change it, you can go to your Curse Forge or Modrinth instance, open up your modding folder, then click on Config, click on rctmod server.toml. Now this may open just as like a notepad, or if you have a code editor, it'll open there. And you want to scroll all the way down to this right here, which it's hiding the name for some reason, but this is the initial level cap. Now it starts at 15. If you want, you can change this to 100, and this effectively kind of disables the level cap. Now, I wouldn't normally recommend doing this. I think the level cap is kind of a good thing, but you can do it if you want. If you want it just to be a little bit easier, you can do this kind of offset thing, additive level requirement, and you can change this to either make it easier or harder, where you can over level or under level. So if you put this to 10, then if the level cap is 50, you can have Pokemon up to level 60 in battle. Or if you put this to -10, if the level cap is 50, you can only have Pokemon at level 40 in the battle. I'm just going to keep it at 0. So if you do that, you can get around the level cap, and hopefully that should answer any questions you have about the level cap. I personally am just going to play with it for now, but if you want to get around it, that's the best way. I'll link a page to the documentation and the mod below, but I highly recommend this frequently asked question page. This will also have a lot of the information that I'm telling you. It'll give it in some more detail if you're having trouble figuring it out. Now, I usually find the easiest way to get the trainer card is just to trade with the trainer association person for it, but you can also craft it with this recipe here. And then what I think is one of the most interesting blocks is actually a trainer spawner, which we don't have diamonds yet, so I'll just talk you through it. But this is how you build it. Now, this block is really cool because it allows you to do two things. It allows you to either make like a custom gym where you'll have that trainer spawn in, and you can build the gym around them, or it allows you to not have to go look in their specific biomes if you are tired of running around. The way it works has to do with that specific item that I was telling you about earlier. So if we go to Rourke here and right click, you'll see his signature item is a smooth rock. So that would mean if I have that trainer spawner block, I need to right click it with a smooth rock, and then Rourke will spawn in. But you can't see the information for a trainer until they're your next required trainer. So we'll have to beat Rourke before we could see what we need to do for these other trainers. And one problem a lot of people run into is you need to make sure the 2 blocks above the spawner are air, otherwise it won't work. If you want more information about this, here on the documentation, they have some information on how you can power it with redstone and do some other things. They also have a spreadsheet here that shows all the signature items if you want to start gathering them beforehand. That should cover most questions I hear about this mod, but one extra thing to be safe, if you're still struggling with the level cap, you can also try and change in the config file the additive level cap to -100 and set allow over leveling to true. Now there's a couple more tips I'll share as we go throughout this video about the Radical Cobblemon Trainers mod, but also I want to go ahead and actually fight a gym leader in this episode. So we're going to see if we can find Rourke and battle him, but first I think we probably need at least one more Pokemon on our team, because we only have these 2 Pokemon. Charmander will get wrecked by a rock gym leader, and Rowlet is a grass Pokemon, but it's also part flying, so it could also get hit pretty hard by a rock type Pokemon. So I want to catch another either grass or water type, but there's a Shroomish right here, which is a super solid grass type Pokemon, one of my favorite to use. So we're going to see if we can catch it here, and hopefully we don't knock it out. All right, we could probably go for one more scratch, and then we'll throw a Pokeball. It's always a little bit scary early game here. You want to make sure you don't knock out these Pokemon. At some point, I'll share some tips to help make sure you don't do that. And it is raining with zombies nearby, so the noises are going to be a little bit unfortunate here, but hopefully we can catch it with a great ball. And there's the zombie I was waiting for. That's the one thing I've found about not being great at living in a dark forest biome. Oh, and there we go. Just caught a Shroomish, which is hype. While we're at it, Shroomish actually is the Cobblemon mascot that is picked by one of my members, Cat. We'll nickname Shroomish here after Cat. And if any of you want to have one of my Pokemon named after you throughout this series or any other series, you can go ahead and click the join button below to become a channel member. Shout out to Cat. Thank you again for all your support. And thank you to all of you who are watching this video. I really couldn't do this without you, and I super appreciate it. Oh, I forgot that with the fight or flight mod, our Pokemon can actually attack zombies. So Cat just got knocked out there, but she also just saved our life. So double thank you to Cat. Now, it's pretty dangerous over here. We're going to head back to our house just in case. And then once the weather clears up, we're going to go and hunt after Rourke. We also just came across a wild Poliwag, which is a Pokemon that I've been wanting to use for a while. And I know several people in the comments of my Hardcore Nuzlocke series have also really wanted me to use. So we're going to see if we can catch it here. This is a little bit of a trickier one because it's in the water. Catching water Pokemon in Cobblemon can be a bit of a pain. I would recommend putting out a boat if you can so that you don't drown. And let's see if we can hit it with the Great Ball from here. We can't, so we're going to get out of the boat just for a second so we don't waste Pokeballs and see if we can just get it here with 30%. Poliwag will be a super fun Pokemon to have on our team. I think the combination of water and fighting with Poliwrath could be a super fun addition. And it looks like we just caught it, which is huge. Awesome, so our team now is definitely ready to take on Rourke. We'll go to bed here to heal up our Pokemon a little bit, and we may use some Oran Berries to finish their health the rest of the way. And then we'll go hunt for Rourke, who spawns in lots of biomes. The closest, actually, we have a meadow biome right by our base. And then we also have some dripstone caves near here. So we should be able to find him pretty easily. And these right here are medicinal leeks, which are an item that we're going to use a lot more later. And so we grabbed one for now, but we'll focus on farming these and talking about them in a future episode. I'm actually really excited about the team here. Shroomish is probably one of my favorite grass type Pokemon. And also a quick tip, you can check their moves right here by clicking these arrows after clicking the M key and these 3 lines. Then you can switch them by clicking this. So we want to check here if there's any moves we should change up for our Pokemon. But Shroomish is one of my favorite grass type Pokemons. I think it's a lot of fun. And then also I'm really excited about Poliwag. Like I said, I've been wanting to use one for a really long time. Not to mention one of my longest standing subscribers, Ethan, has wanted me to have a Poliwag for so long. So glad we finally got it for you here, Ethan. Looks like for the most part we have the best moves. We're going to change a couple here. Rowlet was missing a few. And then I think we have a couple better ones we can give to Charmander. So we'll put Dragon Breath on him. Now, something important to know actually when you fight the gym leaders, when you fight a wild Pokemon, whatever Pokemon you have selected here on the left, so for example right now Poliwag, if I fight a wild Pokemon I can just click R and Poliwag will come out. But when you're fighting the gym leaders, the first Pokemon that comes out, or any trainer is always your first Pokemon in your party. So we're going to switch that. We'll click on M here, click on the switch button, and we'll just put Rowlet in the first spot for now. That way Charmander doesn't start out because he's probably going to get wrecked by Rourke, and we don't want to do that to him. Luckily, going to sleep healed our Pokemon most of the way, but we can just use some orange berries to get Cat the rest of the way here. And then speaking of that, I'm not too worried about this gym battle, but if you are, giving your Pokemon held items by shift and right clicking them is always a pretty good idea. We'll give all of ours orange berries right now. Later game, orange berries aren't very useful, but right now with level 15, pretty low health, an orange berry can actually heal quite a lot. You could use a citrus berry or something to do more, but this will do pretty well for right now. And I'm not too worried about the gym. Rourke's one of the easier ones to beat, and this isn't the Radical Red version, so it's not as difficult. And we have a pretty good team here. I think we could definitely take him. No way. We were sitting up here just waiting in this meadow biome for Rourke to spawn. I just got here about 2 seconds ago. So Rourke hasn't spawned in yet, but I do see on the mini-map that there is a Rockruff nearby. Now I don't see it, so we're going to look around here until we find it. But Rockruff is probably one of my favorite all-time Pokemon, and I would definitely love to have a Lycanroc on the team. So let's figure out where it is. It's either on top of us or underground. Let's hope we can find this guy. That's one of the mini-map is really helpful, but unfortunately it has a few limitations. Sometimes if Pokemon are underground, it's really hard to tell. There it is. It's on top of a tree, which is another difficult one. That's okay. We should be able to catch it just fine. We'll have to make sure we don't knock it out, but we'll just pile up with some dirt really fast. And there he is, level 17. So we'll have to go put it back in our PC if we catch him, because if you have a Pokemon over the level cap, gym leaders will not battle you. And so just like we saw there, good thing we got some other grass and water Pokemon, because one rock move did a lot to Rowlet. Now that was kind of unfortunate. We actually did a little more damage than I would hope, because I don't want to knock it out. So we'll go for Shadow Sneak, which allows us to move first, which is pretty nice. And then Rockruff might have a low enough HP right now, but he used double team. So we'll see if we can hit him with Shadow Sneak one more time. And we do. And so we'll try and throw a Great Ball right now, and hopefully we can get this guy on our team. So it'd be a really fun one to use going forward. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's go. I'm actually super pumped about that. We'll have to take a vote which form we should evolve it into, but I'm super excited about Rockruff. Also, look how cute Rowlet looks when it's flying. Definitely a big fan of these animations. We'll put Rockruff in our PC really fast just because he's over the level cap, so we can't use him right now, but looks super cute. And as soon as we beat the gym, we will definitely add him back to our team. Wow, this was a crazy adventure to find Rourke. I was mining for some materials in between videos, and I noticed the trainer card started to light up as purple. Now this means that the trainer you're looking for, the next one you have to battle, is on the map. So then I opened it up and I had this arrow here, and I had to dig through several levels of rock to find him, but we have finally found Rourke, and so we're gonna go ahead and do the battle. Now, there are some data packs available, or texture packs, excuse me, available for the Radical Red mod, but so far I've only found ones that do the Kanto gym leaders. So unfortunately, Rourke does not really look like Rourke here, but if any of you know of any for the Diamond and Pearl version, let me know and that would be awesome. But we'll go into the battle here. Now, I don't know how well Rowlet will do. He is a little bit faster, so we took out Geodude, which is awesome. We'll just have to see if any of them outspeed him. Any rock move is going to do a ton, but maybe we won't need as many Pokemon as I thought we did, and Rowlet will just sweep them all. We'll see here. We almost got a one hit on Cranidos. It used Headbutt rather than a rock move, which is interesting, and it's doing it again. As long as we don't flinch, we should be okay. We'll eat the Oran Berry there and heal. This version with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is much easier than the version with Radical Red. If you do the Radical Red with the Kanto gym leaders, it is far more difficult than this. You definitely won't get this far just on your first Pokemon. Unless you plan really well. But we actually got really lucky there, and oh no, and we just died. Shoot. Well, I guess I'll have to find Rourke again and go get my stuff. Luckily, Rourke didn't despawn, and so we'll go again, but our Rowlet was not healed, and so we're actually just going to go for Cat here, starting off instead, and we're facing the wrong way. So Pokemon trainer Brendan is kind of just watching our battle right now, and Rourke's in between our two Pokemon. So it looks a little weird, but he's going to go for the switch actually to Cranidos, which is really interesting. Not sure why he went for that, but we'll just go for Mega Drain here and we'll go again. Now, luckily, I don't think this battle should be too difficult, just like it was earlier. We'll just have to make sure we don't get blown up. It's a pretty sketchy, wow, he just did a lot of damage with Headbutt on us. I noticed right over here, if you look closely, is a deep dark biome, and we are definitely not prepared to go into a deep dark biome right now. So we're going to be careful, try and avoid that best we can. Let's hope we don't get attacked. We don't have any armor yet. so we're still not super safe, and we flinched last turn, so we didn't get to use Mega Drain, which is unfortunate. Wow, Cat goes down, unfortunately, and I don't think Rowlet outsped. Let's see if Charmander can tank a hit. He probably won't, but if we can get off one Dragon Breath, we outspeed. Awesome. Okay, he can take out Cranidos, so I was worried about Cranidos doing too much damage on one of our Pokemon that we're more reliant on. We'll go for a Dragon Breath here too. Now, this isn't as stressful. I'm used to doing my Cobblemon 100 Days Hardcore challenge that I had been live streaming, and I will hopefully continue that soon, as well as this series, but that one is a lot more stressful. That's a Nuzlocke. If anyone dies, we lose. But here, if we lose a Pokemon, it's not the end of the world. And as well, with the Survival Guide series, I am playing with the setting, which I know is a little lame, but just for ease of getting videos out for you guys, I have the setting where I don't lose my inventory when I die. I'd totally forgotten about that, but I guess I am playing with that. My level, as you can see, didn't go down there, which is a bonus. But there we go. We defeated Roark. First, I guess second try. We would have had him first try if we didn't get destroyed by that creeper. But that's our first trainer here in the challenge. Now we'll right click with the trainer card again. You'll see our level cap is now level 16. And we'll look here, Gym Leader Roark has been defeated. And so we can click here to see who our next trainer we need to fight is. And it's a little bit hidden, so sometimes you need to scroll down to the right number. But you'll see here, Team Galactic. We'll click on this. This is Commander Mars. We'll go to the right here. And looks like she spawns in Badlands, Deep Dark Biomes, so we're actually close there. Dripstone Cave, which is where we are right now. And so it looks like we'll probably just level up our Pokemon to level 16, and then we can hunt for Commander Mars here. That's just about everything you need to know about the Radical Red mod in Cobblemon. Thank you so much for tuning into the Survival Guide series, and make sure to come back next week for our next episode, which will explain everything you need to know about how to use the Pokedex in Cobblemon. And we'll make sure to feature some special battles and evolutions as well, so you won't want to miss it.